What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Moonshine, the Hillbilly Hellraiser. Dan, how you doing? I'm doing all right. Can't complain too much. It's been a I don't know if it's been a busy week, but I've been busy. A lot going on at work. Weekend kind of blew by. Had some time to kill, so I figured I would hop on here and do like a little news recap thing because there's been a lot going on this week as far as in the metal world and music. There's some stuff going on in wrestling, but honestly, I didn't really pay much attention to it. There was apparently a big AEW show this past weekend. I didn't know anything about it. Apparently, there were a bunch of title changes, and well, again, I didn't know anything about it, so it couldn't have been that important on the grand scheme of things. I know WWE, they're building up to Survivor Series, which is always the big show of the year, but I haven't really been following that either, so it doesn't really make too much of a difference to me. I know they had a couple of surprise appearances that were all part of this whole, like, John Cena is doing his retirement tour, and they're doing this whole tournament to decide who's going to be his last opponent. And they brought all these mystery people back, and one of them was Nick Nemeth, Dolph Ziggler, and the other one was Matt Cardona, Zack Ryder, and the crowd went mild. I mean, I know it's funny because I see some people commenting on it, especially with Matt Cardona, because he's been on the Indies for a while and doing the rounds on all the big indie promotions and all that sort of thing. And everyone's like, oh, bring back, Matt. And he's got his own podcast and everything, which is cool. He's into all the wrestling figures and stuff like that. I think he even has a company that he does some stuff with, but everyone was all excited about him coming back. But honestly, I don't see where, as they say, that he moves the needle. I just don't see it. He's got a good physique. He's a decent worker. He's good in the ring, but beyond that, he can talk his ass off a little bit, but I just don't see it. That's just me. Just my personal opinion, different strokes for different folks, different styles and whatnot. I don't see it. I don't see Ziggler coming back. Like, I mean, the dude's been gone for like a year and he was there for like 20 or something crazy like that. So bringing it, and I mean, a lot of these guys, they go to TNA now. A lot of these guys and girls go to TNA, and TNA is basically a satellite promotion of WWE. So when you see them going there, it's like, well, you didn't really go that far. You basically, it's like almost like back in the day going from WWE to ECW or going from there to OVW. It's like, well, you didn't really travel very far. You just went to you're still within the umbrella. So I don't know. It doesn't really seem to make too much of a difference. But point being, I really haven't been watching wrestling that much. And so there's really not much to talk about there. I know there's stuff going on, but there's plenty of other people that can discuss all that sort of stuff. So let's get into some of the stuff that I can talk about. I got some news that came up this week. Got a funny story that's gonna lead into me trying to talk about some other stuff, and then I'm actually I decided to use the stream tard here because I figured that would make my life a little bit easier. So you'll have to bear with me as I click around and start doing certain things on here. Um, First off, I wanted to show this. I know none of you know who this is, but this is my buddy Mike. He is a wrestler. He goes by the name of Sideshow. When I first broke into the business, he used to wrestle as a guy. His name was OG Scarface. Did a lot of hardcore stuff. He used to work for one of the big indies around here called IPW Hardcore. And I've just known him forever. But he's also a DJ. He used to do a lot of DJing in strip clubs. He's got his own DJing business. And if any of you notice, I know some of you are super into underground stuff, but I also know that you do follow music. That right there is Dave Draymond of Disturbed. Well, OG got to do his wedding. Apparently, I guess he got married recently, and he was doing his wedding. He was presiding over it. So I thought that was pretty cool. It was very cool for Mike to get to do something like that. I mean, and as far as that world goes, he got to meet all sorts of different, like, hard rock and like mainstream normie metal kind of personalities, which actually remind me there was something else I wanted to talk about too. So he got to meet like Chad Gray from Mudvayne and Hell Yeah, a couple other guys. Of course, there's a lot of guys like from that like that sphere of the heavy music hard rock world. He got to hang out and cavort with all those people. So I thought that was pretty cool. You know, to get to do something like that. That's a pretty big deal. You know, when you're in a business and you get to do something with a celebrity, that seems pretty cool. So, anyhow, but moving on, I just figured I would share that. So, one of the first things I saw today was that apparently Arch Enemy and Alyssa White Gloves parted ways. She's been with him since for about a decade since Angela Gasso left the band. I guess Angela does. She's the manager for the band apparently. But yeah, they parted ways. She gave a very quick statement. They gave very quick statements. A lot of speculation going on about whether or not it was an amicable thing, but she apparently has a solo project happening. They're doing whatever they're doing. They've got a busy touring schedule. I mean, I like Arch Enemy. They're not my favorite band in the world, and Blood Dynasty was all right, but in a lot of ways, I would say it was probably a very paint by numbers kind of album. They had some good songs on there, but beyond that, there really wasn't a lot of meat on that bone as far as Blood Dynasty goes. So it really wasn't a big huge deal as far as for me one of those things that it really was like essential. But I heard it a few times, and like I said, a few songs were good, but for the most part it was just like, it was just kind of paint by numbers. It was just there, not something that was essential or something that I thought anyone had to go out of their way to get. But I know they got their fans. I know Alyssa has her fans. So everybody will probably be fine. There's, speculation. I heard a rumor from another channel that she might be joining Nevermore because Jeff Loomis was in Arch Enemy at one point. But I don't know. That's all just rumor and speculation, rumor and innuendo. So who knows? But yeah, they're all right. I saw them back in, I want to say I saw them in 2021 or 2022. It was the tour they did with Behemoth and oh crap, I can't remember who opened that show. I think it might have been Napalm Death, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Arch Enemy, Behemoth, and Napalm Death. And me and my buddies, a couple buddies of mine who aren't super huge into heavy extreme music, they wanted to go check out a show with me. So I said, all right, let's go check this out. So we went to go see them, and they were good. I mean, the show was pretty good. They were entertaining. Behemoth put on a way better performance than anyone else, and they had a lot more time, which I was kind of thought was weird because of the venue that they performed at. I just thought it's weird how sometimes the band that's like the feature act got more time than the headliner. So just kind of weird stuff. But who the hell knows? But it is what it is. It's news. And speaking of stuff that is going on as far as bands and lineup changes and all that sort of thing. So Metal Church, they've got a whole brand new band with the exception of Kurt Vanderhoof and what's he's got a long time guitar player. I can't remember what his name. Rick Van Zant. But then they recruited Dave Ellefson from Megadeth, Ken Mary from Allison Cooper and Flotsam and Jetsam, and they got Brian Allen from Vicious Rumors is going to be the new vocalist for the band. They put out a new single, Fafo. I listened to it. It was decent. It's one of those things where I probably have to I'll have to hear more of the album before I really kind of give more of a learned opinion on it because it sounded fine for what it was. I like the last album. I don't really quite understand the logic behind getting rid of the entire band from the last album because I thought what was it, Mark Lopez or something like that. I can't remember what the guy's name was, but he was I thought he was fine in the band. I thought the last album was good. I rated it pretty high when it came out that year. But it'd be interesting to see what they do. I mean, anything with Dave Ellefson should be pretty decent. And I mean, it sounded like standard fare, like modern thrash. I know some people have commented about a lot of stuff being kind of like I guess the term for the day would be paint by numbers. But we'll see. That's what I say. I'm holding out. I'm holding out any criticism or positive or otherwise until I hear more of the album and see how that turns out. But I was just scrolling through a couple of sites and I saw that I was like, oh shit, Metal Church has some new stuff out, and they changed practically the entire band. So I thought that was kind of a neat little thing going on. But yeah, we'll see what's happening with that one. So moving along. Yeah, you know, of like everybody, I love that first Metal Church album. But yeah, it should be interesting. I mean, they're still doing it. They're still playing, and they got a pretty solid band with them. So next up, there's got to be an easier way to do this screen sharing gimmick. So let's go into this one here because this is one of my favorite modern bands. Kind of like I've heard some people refer to them as like gateway black metal, but I really enjoy them. It's Canon and Fever, and they have a brand new. They just put out a brand new single entitled Zivor, and I'm not going to even try. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that, as I say quite a bit. The hillbilly thing is turning into less of a gimmick, more of a shoot than I realized. It seems like I can barely speak English half the time, much less other people's languages. But this is a compilation album. But they do have the Zivor it's a new song, and they have another song that is I can't remember the name of it, but there's two tracks on here that they're new, and they are supposed to. I guess it's supposed to be based around lyrically the Battle of Jutland. Jutland. Hopefully, I'm saying that right. But yeah, they do a lot of World War One and World War Two themed songs. That's the basis of a lot of what they do. I mean, as you can see, they got a gimmick going on, which is cool. And I mean, they're a solid, uh, very melodic black metal band. I really enjoy them. I know some people really don't, but this is coming out in February on Century Media. I believe they're already doing pre-orders for it on LP and on record and CD. You can get it, and then it's supposed to ship out February 3rd, I believe. And yeah, it should be interesting. I don't know if I'm going to run out and get a pre-order of it, just because a lot of the stuff is just reworked material that they've done previously. And that's the one thing I will say about Canon and Fever is that even though I know that Noise is in a few different bands, and I think the most of his live band are in different projects. It's just one of those things where I'm not going to continue to shell out money if all you're going to do is put out rehashed material. Like I love Slayer, but if every album they did was just remastered or reworked material of them doing Rain and Blood or anything off of Show No Mercy, then I probably wouldn't continue buying it. As much of a fan as I am of Slayer, or insert any band that you really like. If they kept playing the same stuff over and over again, it would get stale really quick. So I would much rather prefer to hear them hold off and put out a whole new album. I know they just did a live album, which that was phenomenal. I eventually got to go pick that up. But I always find it hard getting a lot of Canon Fever's stuff because a lot of it comes from international. I'd like to get it from Noise himself, but I think just the shipping charges and everything always kind of dissuaded me from doing that, particularly on the Bandcamp side of things. But yeah, it's pretty cool though. So if you like them and you like their music, then definitely go check that out. Again, it's on Century Media. And speaking of Century Media, we got another Century Media story, and this one I thought was pretty cool. So the band Worm just signed with Century Media. Worm is their Death Doom project from here in Florida. Very cool. Forever Glade, Blue Nothing. They did a split with some star something or other. I can't remember what it was. I didn't pick that particular one up because I heard the other band, but I really wasn't. I don't remember being really too blown away by it. But yeah, they just put out a new single, Necro Palace. They put out a video for it as well, and yeah, they refer to themselves as Necromantic Black Doom. You kind of wish Hesher Keenan there would have done some proofreading because it's not necromantic, it's necromantic Black Doom. But they're a two piece. And what I thought was really cool about it is that they are going to feature Marty Friedman on there, which is very, very cool. I mean, Marty Friedman is a sensational guitar player. Anyone who's a longtime metalhead or fan of heavy metal knows him from Megadeth, especially those two. I think Rust in Peace and Countdown to Extinction are classic albums. Speaking of Countdown to Extinction, here, let me tell you this this annoyed me. So I started going to a gym, started going to a powerhouse gym here locally, just because the place where I go to shut down recently. The apartment complex gym that they have. I use it for my cardio stuff and warming up and all that sort of stuff because I'm getting old and I'm beaten up and wrestling did a toll. It took some life points out of me. So I need to warm up or else I end up getting injured. Anytime I try to work out without warming up, I get injured. So folks, warm up, stretch if you're doing any sort of physical activity. Definitely do that. It'll prevent injuries and all that sort of good stuff. So anyhow, start going to the gym. And the guy who owns it, he plays cool music. He plays like old school metal, like lots of classic metal, lots of Ozzy, lots of Megadeth. I heard some Tesla in there, some Metallica stuff, that sort of stuff, which is cool. It's way better than the music that plays in most gyms. So I'm in there, but I usually keep my headphones on because even though I love that sort of stuff, I'd much rather listen to stuff that I want to listen to, especially if it's stuff that I'm either trying to review for the channel or I'm just trying to listen for personal use or, stuff that I'm interested in buying and I want to check it out first. I'd rather do it that way. So, but I pop my headphones off real quick for a second and I can hear Countdown to Extinction playing. They had Ashes in Your Mouth playing. It's like, oh, hell yeah. Because I hadn't heard that in a while, but love that album. Know it backwards and forwards. One of my favorite albums growing up. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go listen to that when I get home. The only copy I have of it is a cassette. So I pop it in the cassette player and Skin of My Teeth starts playing. And next thing you know, what the? And so I open up, gosh damn player ate my tape. So I put it, and it's been decades since I've had to screw with a cassette tape. So I'm sitting there effing with it, trying to put it back in there, go to play it again, plays for like 3 seconds, and the thing comes right off the spool. So I was like, God damn it. So there went my cassette, my original Megadeth Countdown to Extinction cassette tape. So I guess I got to upgrade and get either CD or vinyl on that one. So anyone who's anyone who knows anything about that, just let me know. I don't even know where I'd go to find one of those, but I'm sure I could find it pretty easy. That's pretty what's the word I'm looking for? Pretty it's just easy to come by, I would imagine. But yeah, man, so that kind of sucked ass. But anyhow, going back to this one, so they and I was gonna say I just took it off of the stage here. So Worm is a Death Doom project. They just signed with Century Media. They got a brand new album coming out in February called Necro Palace. They put out the single Necro Palace. It's about a 10-minute track. And yeah, it was pretty cool. I saw the video, very well done. I was reading comments as I was watching and listening to it. A lot of people were comparing it to because they went a completely different direction with the sound and the style on this one. It's definitely a lot more symphonic black metal than so I saw some people going calling it sympho black, and it's just like, ugh. You people, you can't just say the words. It's symphonic black metal. How I know that time is valuable and everything, but just say the words. Stop combining them like that, you douches. But anyhow, so a lot of people comparing it to like Dimmu Borgir. What were some of the other ones I saw? Like Lord Belial, a few other people. I'm squirming because my drink is starting to kick in, and I got to go take a piss. But I got to finish the. I'm going to finish this real quick. But let's see if I can actually pause this. All right, and I'm back. Apparently, you can pause it. I guess there wouldn't be a reason why you couldn't pause it. It's not like I'm doing a live stream or anything. And even if I were doing live stream, I'd just walk off and turn off the camera for a second, go do my business. I thought I could get through the rest of this with while sitting here squirming a little bit, but no, my bladder and kidneys were like, no, you better go take care of this. So anyhow, so they're on Century Media. They got a new album coming out on February 13th. The video was really cool. I heard lots of people comparing it again to Dimmu Borgir, Limbonic Art, a few other bands, the Lord Belial, a lot of stuff like that. Some Cradle of Filth style stuff. But yeah, it was really cool. I thought it was good. It should be interesting. Excuse me. It should be interesting to hear. Excuse me. I'm dying here, apparently. What they do with Marty Friedman. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I went on Century Media's website, and a lot of the vinyl, a lot of the records are already sold out. I'll probably end up getting it on CD. I don't like the way the CD is packaged. It's one of those like the freaking. It's not a jewel case. It's one of those slipcase deals that's real kind of flimsy, and I don't know. I just don't like those. I would prefer a jewel case more than anything. Just give me that. That if my opinion counts for anything, just give me that one. That's all I need. I don't ask for much in life, but when it comes to CDs, I still am a huge CD fan. Actually, just watched a video from Realms of Rock. Eddie was doing one showing off the cassettes, and he said he's not really into CDs anymore. And it's like, yeah, no, that's cool. You know, everybody's got their preference, but I'm more of a CD guy more than anything. Again, going back to the Countdown to Extinction story, this is why I don't like tapes, is because you go out, you buy something, you go spend 10, 15, 20, maybe you go splurge for some OG pressing on cassette of something, and then the gosh damn player eats the tape, then where you at? You know, it's like, come on now. So it just to me, it's a very you can't the rewinding and fast forwarding capabilities on it. It's kind of a pain in the dick, and just a lot of stuff like that. I don't mind cassette. I have cassette. I own cassettes. I'll buy cassettes. I'll continue to buy cassettes, but at the same time, I'm more of a CD person. I just like more of the I like more of the accessibility, and it just is a lot more functional as far as a media than record and cassette. Although, again, it just if I'm trying to get music and it's only available on this format or another, that's what I'm going to get it on. I'm not picky. I'm not a hard man to please. I just want the music, man. So anyhow, so let's keep moving along here. We did that one. We did that one. We did that one. Let's see what else I got going on here. Did that one. Yeah, this one I don't have it pulled up. But let me see if I can do that real quick. Let's do this on the fly. So there's this content creator on YouTube, and he got everybody panties all in a twist a little bit. So we'll pull that up real quick here. If I can. If I did. Let's do that real quick. But Yeah, so this one here, this Rick Beto, he did a video called "Where Have All the Metalheads Gone?" And just kind of scrolling through it a little bit. He's talking about. I'm gonna mute it, but he's talking about how I guess he's going by Spotify and the listeners and all that sort of stuff. And it's like, yeah, Ghosts, Bring Me the Horizon, Pierce the Veil, Falling in Reverse. I mean, gang, I, I know this is technically metal, but is this really metal? Is this this right here? Is this really metal? Do we really consider this stuff metal? It's like hard rock. It's mainstream hard rock. It's got riffs. It's got this and it's got, but it's not metal. So just to me, I mean, look, I've heard Sleep Token. I have to hear Sleep Token every day at my job. Sleep tokens stink. That is awful. And again, a lot of this stuff, it has elements. I know a lot of it's metalcore and that sort of thing. And I know metalcore is very popular. Like I go to enough shows to where I see that some of the stuff that I go to, it's like a bomb scare as far as how many people are there. And then you see a band like this, like A Day to Remember. Ooh, I don't know which way to go. But yeah, A Day to Remember, and they'll sell out, or they'll have they'll have multiple shows at a venue because that's just how popular they are. Yeah, this motion. I never listened to Motionless in White. Volbeat are all right. Never listened to Spirit Box. Cannot. Yeah, most of these bands are just. So he was going based on that, and then he started going into what he considers like I guess legacy acts. And one of the first ones he pulls up is Linkin Park. Then he goes into Metallica. Oh, Disturbed, Deftones, another one who I don't get. Deftones, I like maybe one song of theirs, and that's about it. Beyond that, and I hear them all the time. I work with a lot of younger people, and they listen to a lot of this stuff, and it's just not for me. And I'm not allowed to play my music at the store. I've already been I've been told that yeah, while some of us like it, it's really not. It's not the most conducive to a retail environment to be playing Goat Whore and Cannibal Corpse and stuff like. And I like look at stuff like that, like man, that's probably the most palatable stuff that I listen to. So, but go figure. It is what it is. So yeah, he just kind of went on like that about all these like Spotify views and stuff like that. And yeah, I think Motley Crue gets like, ugh. I'm one of those people. I used to like Rage Against the Machine, but I can't really deal with I can't do the commie rock anymore, especially when they're like what people would commonly refer to as champagne socialists. These guys charge an arm and a leg for go see them live, and then they're all talking about the 1% and all that silly horse shit. It's just like, come on, get a grip. Freaking, talk about posers. And I don't even like worldview wise, I don't even subscribe to that anyway. It's actually kind of funny story here as I continue to babble on close to a half hour here. So one of my coworkers is in a punk rock band, and it was her birthday on Friday, and she asked me because Friday's my day off. She's like, "Oh, can you come see my band?" So myself and one of my coworkers, we went out there. I was trying to get one of my lady friends to go out there with me, but she's got stuff going on, so she can't really. She's not able. She wasn't able to go with me. But anyhow, so we go, and it was at this outdoor skate park, and it's in St. Pete, Florida, which is right across the bridge, right across the bay. So we go there, and the person taking the money for the tickets. First thing I notice on his, her, she, they, the whatever the hell these people refer to themselves as. There's a free Luigi. button on this person's hat. I'm pretty sure it was a guy. So, oh, okay. And then my coworkers band, they play and they did all right. It's not necessarily for me, their band and their sound and everything like that, but I was just there to support her. It wasn't about really. I mean, it would, if it stunk, I would have just kind of stomached it and just did the old endurance test thing. And honestly, I even told her afterwards, because they did a cover of Heart Shaped Box by Nirvana. I said, you should never do that again. That was just awful. And they were, her and the bass player, like, oh, well, it was different tuning. And all I could think of was the scene in Walk Hard with Dewey Cox, and they're doing That's Amore, and the producer is giving them grief, and all the Orthodox gentlemen in the background are sitting there. They're screaming and having a conniption in Yiddish about how terrible it was, and it just a very funny scene. But it was, and then Dewey Cox's response was, "Oh, maybe it was the wrong song choice." And it was kind of like the same thing I was thinking about that. It was like, no, it wasn't the song choice. It was just, oh, it was bad. It was really, really bad. So anyhow, so they play, they finish up. Next band comes on, and one of the first things that the band says is, "Oh yeah, we're blah blah blah, and all of our music is anti-capitalist and how we're killing the earth." And I was just like, oh boy. And I looked at my friend, and I said to her, I was like, "Do we have to be here much longer? We saw her play. Can we just go?" You know, and I'm thinking it's my night off anyway. I don't really want to be here much longer. I already feel like I'm at a quasi Antifa rally, and just some of the people, it was just like, and I even told her too, like, you know, it's like, I said, we're outside. How come I can smell some of these people? We're outdoors. So anyhow, but we ended up leaving. But that was kind of like this long meandering story that I was telling. And that was kind of the same thing, kind of trailed off from the Rage Against the Machine thing. So going back to this Rick Beto thing, so he goes off on all this, trying to make this whole thesis on is metal dead, and a couple of people comment on it. Well, for my opinion, very very quickly, is that I feel like you can't really comment on metal being dead when your point of reference is Pierce the Veil and Rage Against the Machine. This is not metal. This is, I mean, metal's not dead. Metal's just going back underground again. I think, in my opinion, there's not a lot of, all the legacy acts, or for lack of a better way of describing it, are dying off. They're all retiring. A lot of them are, at least. They're all cashing in while they can. I mean, friggin' Motley Crue did a retirement tour years ago. Me and my buddies spent ridiculous amounts of money to go see them, and now they're back out there again with freaking Tesla and Extreme, asking for even more ridiculous sums of money to go see them. So it's just like, it is what it is. Priest, Judas Priest, the same way. Big retirement tour, then they're back out on the road. You know, just stuff like that. So a lot of these bands, they're gonna milk it as long as they can, as long as people will pay the ridiculous Ticketmaster prices to go see them. They'll continue to do it. But there were really, you know, it's like the same thing with wrestling. Like, new stars weren't getting built. Like, the closest thing that you come to is you'd have Ghost, which is more of a hard rock band now, Amon Amarth, Lamb of God. I mean, those are probably the biggest bands. And then probably below that is like Cannibal Corpse. And most bands like that can, on their own, like Cannibal can fill up a pretty decent sized theater. But I think that's about it, at least where I live in Florida, which is crazy considering that they're one of the biggest death metal bands in the world, and kind of, you know, cut their teeth here. You'd think they'd have a bigger following than that, like they could get a bigger venue than that. But a lot of times, a lot of these, like when I saw them on a mark, they were playing in a basketball in an arena, and half of it was tarped off. So with it, just not building, the people, there's nobody taking over. And then you add into the fact that a lot of young people, they're more into like the EDM music and the rap and the hip hop, and you know, they're all into this country mixed with hip hop, and everything is getting, it's all this just like homogenized garbage where everything is getting blended together, and there's no soul, there's no cogent, like there's no difference between it. There's no, it's all just this homogenous garbage. and it's all. And I have a whole theory on that I'm not going to get into right now, but it's kind of one of my out there theories where people are like, oh, Dan, but yeah, that's what a lot of people are into nowadays. So I don't think metal is dead. I just think it's going underground. So that's my opinion on Rick Beato's take. And I don't need to go do a whole half-hour video on that. And, but kudos to you if you did. And if people are, you're getting pushed to the top of the algorithm of YouTube by going on and talking about how he's a boomer and this and that. I don't know if it's all that. I just don't think that, you know, Spotify, Spotify is not even the greatest gauge in my opinion, because I saw a lot of people in the comment sections reading that. A lot of people are saying most metalheads are also physical media. They own physical media. So you can't really count that Spotify as like the be all end all of metal's popularity. But at the same time, I think it is contracting and going back more underground, which yeah, hey, is fine by me. Not the worst thing in the world. So anyhow, this is why I'm here after 35 minutes of doing all this. So I put an email address on my YouTube channel. I just put it there just as for a just in case baby kind of thing. Didn't really think anybody would respond to it. So apparently I got a response, and I kind of chuckled to myself because of the simple fact that because I have, and I'm not saying this, poor me, but I have such, I get very, very limited views and very low engagement on my videos. So it's not like I'm getting lots of comments. I'm not getting flooded with comments. I don't get like 1,000 views or 1,500, 2,000 views on stuff. I just get like, if I'm lucky, I get like maybe 100 or something like that on my stupid channel. So I don't get a lot of people follow my channel. So it's very surprising to me that somebody would actually send me an email. So I go and I look, and I was looking for something completely different. I was supposed to I special ordered something, and I was checking on the status of it, and I was on the wrong email address anyhow, to just so you know. And I check and I look and I see a message there, and it's this dude from Australia, and he's asking me. He's got a link to his Dropbox, and he's like, hey, this is my band. These are the files for the music, the artwork, all that sort of stuff. And I responded to him because the album came out on Halloween on October 31st. And I didn't see this till today is the 23rd. I didn't see this till the 21st. So it was damn near a month before I noticed that I had a message from anybody. So again, I apologize. And I told him too. I said, yeah, I don't really check this out that much. I put that there just in case somebody wanted to message me. I didn't really see where anybody was really going to. And like I told him, I get so many, I get such low engagement with my channel that I just put it there just in case, and apparently the just in case was necessary because somebody asked me to check out their band. So I did, and I figured I would mention it. So the band's name they're a band called, if it comes up here with the screen share deal, da, 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 they are called Neural Dust. Let's pull that up real quick. And they are from Toowoomba, Australia. They have a few releases out, but this is their latest one called Deus Nakari. Now they consider themselves, well, they say this album is a collision of metal, electronics, and existential dread, confronting the contradictions that define the human condition. And then each track is a fracture, a fragment, a shard that exposes the truths we try to bury. The band itself is 6-piece. Tony Brumpton. Tony's the guy who reached out to me. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate it. Again, I apologize for not checking back in with you sooner. Poor bastard's probably thinking, this freaking douche, like, what's his problem? What does he think? He's better than the rest of us? It's like, no, I just don't. If you know me, to know me is to love the fact that I really don't I don't check my emails, and I tend to, if I didn't have to have a cell phone on me, I probably wouldn't have a cell phone on me. But yeah, it's the band itself is Tony Brumpton on vocals, Luke McTaggart on guitar. I think they're pretty much the main creative force behind the band. Uh, Luke and Lachlan King on bass. They got a trumpet player, Alan Bremner. Tony does the programming, the electronic stuff, and then they have Heidi Andrew does some background vocals to kind of round things out. And it was produced and mixed at Tone Black Productions and mastered by Matthew Gray Mastering. And that is the album cover. You can see that right there. Excuse me. And I'm just going to, I think I have it pulled up. I'll just play a little bit of it. Hopefully you can hear it well enough. I'm going to try to, I'll turn the volume up on my computer. I don't know if that's going to make a difference or not, other than blowing out my eardrums. So this is from track 4, Close My Heart. You kind of get an idea of what it sounds like. I just turn it down on my end.
Voices itch beneath my skin, speaks in tongues I hold within, echoes gnaw at my will, lullabies leave a shell, nights go dim behind my eyes, where shadows dance, truths disguise, thoughts impulse, shattered streams, thoughts explode, I strut on the track. Shattered what I be, harbors haunting all my dreams.
Kind of like this part of it where it kind of has it's got kind of that almost like a Hypocrisy style melodic death metal riff to it. But yeah, so that's Neural Dust. They've got a few, like, you can go check out their Bandcamp. They've got a few releases that are available. Again, they're from Australia. It was fine. I mean, it was 4 tracks, and of the 4 tracks, they weren't terrible. I mean, I've heard way worse, and that's not me trying to be like saying that. I'm not trying to like be too cute by half and say that it was bad. It wasn't. It was just the electronics, the mix of that. It kind of had a very like that industrial sound. And even though I like some industrial stuff, I'm not a huge fan of industrial metal. I can get into some of it, but it was basically, if that was the sort of thing that you're into, you might enjoy this. Like I said, I enjoyed more when they did more like if they go more in that direction, like the melodic death metal type of thing, I might be a little bit more in with it. But by and large, it was fine. I mean, of the 4 tracks, I would say I'd probably Close My Heart, No Sanctuary, Dust to Dust, and Anguish in that order is probably the way I would rate the songs. Dust to Dust was interesting because it had kind of like this whole lyric wise, it kind of had this whole populist theme to it. The masses versus the elites, that kind of thing. And so, I mean, it was interesting, but beyond that, yeah, if you want, go check them out, go check out their Bandcamp. If you like their stuff, go purchase it. And yeah, so that's pretty much, that is what I got for you. That is my not my review of Neural Dust, but that's at least me shining a spotlight on it. That's my news thing. I went way too long. 45 minutes is way too long to listen to me babbling about nonsense. But anyhow, so that's what I got for you guys. I'm starting to squirm again, so I'm going to get out of here. So this is Dan, Moonshine, the Hillbilly Hellraiser. thanking you for watching another Moonshine Talking. Everybody have a good one. As always, stay sick, stay heavy, stay brutal. Always tuck your chin up on impact. Don't forget to breathe. Have a good one. I'm about to choke to death again. Take it easy. I'll see you on the next one. Later.